Hey there, I'm Jack, and I'm about to take you on a wild ride through my journey of discovering the power of routines. Now, I know what you're thinking. Routines? Boring, right? That's exactly what I thought too. But trust me, this story is anything but boring. It's about how I went from being a total mess to someone who actually has their life together, most of the time anyway. So buckle up because this is going to be one heck of a transformation tale. The chaotic beginning. Picture this. It's 7:45 a.m. on a Tuesday morning. I'm still in bed, drool on my pillow, when suddenly I bolt upright. School starts in 15 minutes and I haven't even brushed my teeth yet. I scramble around my room, which looks like a tornado hit it, trying to find clean clothes and my half-finished homework. This was pretty much every morning for me. I was always the kid rushing into class just as the bell rang, if I made it on time at all. My backpack was a black hole where assignments went to die, and don't even get me started on my grades. They were slipping faster than a penguin on an ice slide. But it wasn't just school that was a mess. My whole life felt like it was spinning out of control. I could never find time for the things I loved, like playing basketball or jamming on my guitar. I was always tired, always stressed, and always feeling like I was 10 steps behind everyone else. My parents were at their wits' end. They'd tried everything: reward charts, punishment, even bribing me with a new video game if I could just get my act together for a week. Nothing worked. I was starting to think that maybe I was just destined to be a screw-up. The wake-up call. Everything changed the day my older sister Emma came home from college for a visit. She took one look at me, hair sticking up in all directions, dark circles under my eyes, surrounded by piles of dirty laundry and half-eaten snacks, and shook her head. "Jack," she said, "you need a routine." I scoffed. "A routine? What am I, a robot? No thanks. I like my freedom." Emma just laughed. "Freedom? Bro, you're a slave to chaos. A good routine doesn't take away your freedom. It gives you more of it." I was skeptical, but Emma had always been the smart one in the family. Plus, I was desperate. My grades were tanking, I was always exhausted, and I couldn't remember the last time I'd actually enjoyed a day. So, against every instinct I had, I decided to give this whole routine thing a shot. Day 1. The struggle begins. Emma helped me create a basic routine to start with. The first challenge? Waking up at 6:30 a.m. every day. When my alarm went off that first morning, I'm pretty sure I growled at it. But I remembered my promise to Emma, so I dragged myself out of bed, feeling like a zombie that had been run over by a truck. Emma had suggested I start my day with something I enjoyed, so I put on my favorite playlist and tried to dance while getting dressed. I probably looked like a sleepy giraffe having a seizure. But it did make me smile a little. Next up was breakfast. Usually I'd grab a Pop-Tart on my way out the door, if I remembered to eat it all. But Emma had insisted that a good breakfast was crucial. So there I was, fumbling with the toaster and nearly burning my bagel. But I managed to sit down and actually eat a real meal before school. The rest of the day was a blur of trying to remember what I was supposed to do next. I had a schedule written down, but I kept forgetting to check it. By the time I crawled into bed that night, I was exhausted. But for the first time in ages, it was a good kind of tired. I felt like I'd actually accomplished something. Week 1. The uphill battle. The first week was tough, I'm not gonna lie. Sticking to a routine when you're not used to it feels like trying to run through quicksand while wearing concrete shoes. I kept forgetting parts of my routine or getting distracted by my phone. Seriously, why are cat videos so addictive? But there were small victories too. I made it to school on time every day that week, a minor miracle for me. My teachers looked like they'd seen a ghost when I walked in before the bell. One of them even asked if I was feeling okay. I also started doing something Emma called a brain dump every night. Before bed, I'd write down everything I needed to do the next day. It was amazing how much clearer my head felt once all that stuff was on paper instead of swirling around in my brain. The hardest part was sticking to a homework schedule. Emma had helped me set aside 2 hours every afternoon for studying and assignments. The first day, I lasted about 15 minutes before I was on YouTube. But each day I managed to focus a little longer. By the end of the week, I was actually finishing my homework before dinner. My mom nearly fainted when she saw me close my books and head to the table without being called 5 times. Month 1. Finding my rhythm. As the weeks went by, something strange started happening. I began to look forward to certain parts of my routine. My morning dance parties became the best part of waking up early. I started enjoying my walk to school, using that time to listen to podcasts about basketball strategies or new guitar techniques. I noticed other changes too. My room stayed cleaner because I had a 10-minute tidy scheduled every day. My homework wasn't a last-minute panic anymore because I had set aside specific time for it. And the best part? I actually had more free time. By being more organized, I finished my work faster and had time left over for things I loved. One day, about a month in, I was shooting hoops in the driveway when I realized something. I wasn't feeling guilty. Usually, when I played basketball, there was always this nagging voice in my head reminding me of all the stuff I should be doing instead. But now, I knew all my work was done. I could just enjoy the game. It was like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. The big test. About 6 weeks into my new routine, I faced a major challenge. We had a huge history project due, and in the old days, I would have been in full panic mode, pulling an all-nighter to finish it. But this time was different. I had broken the project down into smaller tasks and worked on it a little each day. The night before it was due, I was actually done. Done. I couldn't believe it. I even had time to add some extra touches that I knew would impress my teacher. That's when I realized this routine thing was really working. I wasn't just surviving anymore, I was thriving. Spreading the word. My friends started noticing the change in me. "Dude, what's your secret?" my best friend Mike asked one day. "You're like a whole new person. You're not even wearing your shirt inside out anymore." I told him about my routine, expecting him to laugh. But instead he said, "That actually sounds pretty cool. Think you could help me make one?" Before I knew it, I was sharing tips with my friends, helping them create routines that worked for them. It felt awesome to be able to help others the way Emma had helped me. The ups and downs now, don't get me wrong, it wasn't all smooth sailing. There were days when I slipped up, days when I just couldn't get out of bed on time, or when I got distracted and messed up my whole schedule. One Saturday, I completely overslept and missed my morning routine altogether. I felt so frustrated with myself that I was tempted to just give up on the whole thing. But then I remembered what Emma had told me. A routine isn't about being perfect. It's about having a plan to fall back on. So instead of throwing in the towel, I looked at my routine and thought, okay, I messed up, but I know what to do next. I jumped back into my schedule with the next item I could do. It wasn't a perfect day, but it was a lot better than it would have been if I'd just given up. Finding balance. As time went on, I started tweaking my routine. I realized some things worked better at different times, and some things I thought I needed weren't actually that important. I made sure to schedule in fun stuff too. Friday nights became movie nights with my family. Sunday afternoons were for jamming with my band. Having these things to look forward to made it easier to stick to the more boring parts of my routine. I also learned to be flexible. If something unexpected came up, like when my dog decided to eat my history homework, yes, that really happened, I didn't freak out. I just adjusted my routine and moved on. The unexpected benefits. About 3 months into my routine journey, I noticed something cool. My grades had gone up, way up. Not because I was studying more, though I was, but because I was less stressed and more focused. I actually understood what was going on in class instead of constantly trying to catch up. I also found I had more energy. By going to bed and waking up at consistent times, my body got into a rhythm. I wasn't exhausted all the time like I used to be. I even started waking up a few minutes before my alarm, which was mind-blowing for someone who used to need 5 alarms just to get out of bed. But the best part? I felt happier. Having control over my day gave me a sense of accomplishment. I wasn't just drifting anymore, I was steering my own ship, the routine revolution. As I got more comfortable with my routine, I started to see how I could use it to pursue my passions. I carved out time to practice guitar every day, and before I knew it, I was writing my own songs. I used my newfound organization skills to start a small business selling custom-designed t-shirts online. My routine gave me the structure I needed to chase my dreams, and I was amazed at what I could accomplish when I put my mind to it. Facing challenges. Of course, life isn't always smooth sailing, even with a great routine. About 6 months into my new lifestyle, my family faced a crisis. My dad lost his job, and suddenly everything was up in the air. We had to cut back on expenses, which meant I had to give up some of the activities I loved. At first, I was devastated. I thought all my hard work building this routine was going to fall apart. But then I realized something. My routine wasn't just about the specific activities I did. It was about the structure, the mindset, the ability to adapt and keep moving forward. So I adjusted. I found free alternatives to some of my activities. I used my organizational skills to help my dad with his job search. I even started tutoring younger kids to earn some extra money for the family. It wasn't easy, but my routine gave me the stability I needed to weather the storm. And when things finally started to improve, I felt stronger and more resilient than ever. The ripple effect. As I continued on my routine journey, I started to notice how it was affecting not just me, but the people around me. My parents were less stressed because they didn't have to nag me about homework or chores anymore. My little brother started copying some of my habits, and soon he was doing better in school too. Even my teachers noticed the change. One day, my English teacher pulled me aside after class. "Jack," she said, "I don't know what's changed, but I'm impressed. You've really turned things around." That moment stuck with me. I realized that by improving myself, I was also positively impacting others. It was like a ripple effect, spreading out to touch all areas of my life. Sharing my story. That's why I decided to share my story. I know there are a lot of kids out there feeling overwhelmed, just like I was, and I want them to know that it doesn't have to be that way. A routine doesn't have to be boring or strict. It can be a tool that gives you more freedom, more time for the things you love, and a sense of control over your life. Here are some tips that helped me and might help you too. 1. Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick 1 or 2 things to focus on first. 2. Make it personal. Your routine should work for you. If you're not a morning person, don't force yourself to wake up at 5 a.m. just because someone else does. 3. Be flexible. Life happens. Your routine should be a guide, not a prison. It's okay to adjust it when you need to. 4. Include things you enjoy. Make sure your routine isn't all work and no play. Schedule in fun activities too. 5. Give it time. It takes a while to form new habits. Don't get discouraged if it doesn't click right away. 6. Use tools that work for you. Whether it's a planner, a phone app, or sticky notes all over your room, find a way to keep track of your routine that feels natural to you. 7. Celebrate small wins. Did you stick to your routine for a whole week? That's awesome. Recognize and celebrate your progress. 8. Learn from setbacks. If you mess up, and you will, don't beat yourself up. Figure out what went wrong and how you can do better next time. 9. Keep evolving. As your life changes, your routine should change too. Don't be afraid to mix things up when you need to. 10. Share your success. When you find something that works, pass it on. Helping others is a great way to reinforce your own good habits. Looking ahead. As I write this, I'm amazed at how far I've come. From the kid who could barely remember to brush his teeth to someone who actually has their life together, most of the time anyway. I'm excited to see where this journey takes me next. I know there will be challenges ahead, high school, college, maybe even a job someday, but now I feel like I have the tools to handle whatever comes my way. My routine has become more than just a schedule. It's a way of life. It's taught me discipline, self-respect, and the power of small, consistent actions. It's shown me that I'm capable of so much more than I ever thought possible. So, if you're feeling lost or overwhelmed, give a routine a try. It might just change your life like it changed mine. Remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about giving yourself a framework to grow, learn, and become the best version of yourself. Who knows? Maybe someday you'll be the one sharing your routine success story. Until then, keep growing, keep learning, and remember, you've got this. The ongoing adventure. It's been a year since I started this routine journey, and I can honestly say it's been the most transformative year of my life. But here's the thing, it's not over. It's never really over. Every day brings new challenges, new opportunities to refine my routine and grow as a person. Sometimes I still slip up. Sometimes I still have days where everything seems to go wrong. But now, instead of letting those days derail me, I see them as chances to learn and improve. I've learned that a good routine isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's about constantly adjusting, adapting, and striving to be a little bit better each day. As I look to the future, I'm excited about the possibilities. I'm no longer that kid who is always playing catch-up, always one step behind. Now I'm the one setting the pace, charting my own course. To anyone out there who's struggling, who feels overwhelmed or out of control, I want you to know that change is possible. It won't happen overnight, and it won't always be easy. But with patience, perseverance, and a good routine, you can transform your life. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. So why not take that step today? Start small, be patient with yourself, and watch as those small changes add up to something amazing. This is Jack, signing off. But my routine revolution, it's just getting started.